Muhammad Zaim Fazuri from class 2432A. Okay, and our video presentation is about Frisbee sport. So, going through the introduction, Frisbee sport is played with a disc on a grass field or on a beach field. So, the field is similar to a rugby or American football field, and the objective is to score points by receiving the disc in this end zone by passing it among the players on a team. Uh, while a player with a disc must remain stationary, which means you uh, you will not move when you throwing the disc. Then, if the disc touch the ground or it intercepted, possession switches to the other team who then has an opportunity to score by passing the disc into their end zone. So the size of the field depends on the surface, with the beach field being slightly smaller than the grass field. So this is to accommodate the typical 7 versus 7 playing style of grass, while beach is usually 5 versus 5. So based on the picture, uh, those are the figure of the grass field. Then next to the picture is how does the frisbee this look like?
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Okay, my part is motor skill. My sport is frisbee. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name Muhammad Aiman Faris bin Muhammad Idrus. I'm from RSR 2432A. Okay, what is motor skill? Motor skill used every day throughout our life. They help us move and do everything from lifting heavy item to typing on a keyboard. Motor skill and motor control being developed after birth and will progress as child grow. Okay, fine motor and gross motor muscular involved. Okay, for frisbee, muscular involved is gross motor skill because it involves movement of large part of the body or the whole body. They also require less precision. Frisbee is involved activity like running and catching. Open and close motor skill. Environment involved. For frisbee is open motor skill because open motor skill is performed in unpredictable environment. We can predict the player who want because it's more like team game. So close motor skill is like individual game like swimming, or we can predict who like swimming, like we can predict that who can win, but open motor skill we cannot predict what team will win. Okay, this continuity continuum is divided into three: discrete, continuous, and serial skill. For frisbee is discrete skill because it distance start and end. It can be repetitive, like throwing the frisbee. For another sport like football, it kicking the ball like that. Okay. Passing continuum is can be divided into two: internally and externally paced. For frisbee, can be internally paced because it's do not control the rate or speed often involve the reaction of the performer. For example, catching or throwing. Okay, difficulty can be divided into two: simple and highly complex skill. Frisbee is highly complex skill because it large amount of information to process, number of decisions to make it quickly. Like Frisbee play in team, so he need to do it quickly. Like he want to counter attack from the from the from the goal to opponent goal. Like you want to counter, you need to decision and make it quickly, like to passing to player A or player B, like that. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Izzuddin bin Nizam. I'm the next presenter for group Frisbee. So I'm gonna relate Frisbee with Fitz and Posner 3-stage model. First thing first, what is Fitz and Posner 3-stage model about? It's about the people progress through distinct stages or phase as they learn motor skill. So means that progression from a beginner to highly skilled. So nama pun Fitz and Posner, so mainly use Fitz and Posner 3-stage model. So in Fitz and Posner 3-stage model, the performance was characterized by 3 scheduled stages termed the cognitive, associative, the cognitive, associative, and autonomous stage. What are those 3 stages about? So first we look at the cognitive stage. So in this stage, beginner focus on solving cognitively oriented problems. The second stage is associative stage. In this stage, person has learned to associate cues from the environment with required movements, works to refine performance to be more consistent. So maksudnya pada this stage, beginner dah mula konsisten dengan apa yang dibuat pada cognitive stage. Sebab dalam cognitive stage ni, beginner still banyak buat salah dan tidak konsisten. So the third one is autonomous stage, which is the final stage where performance of the skill is automatic. Means that the beginner have become the highly skilled. So he or she know what's the best technique or skill to apply based on different situation. We go more details to the first stage, which is cognitive stage. So in this stage, a beginner should learn the basic things in Frisbee, such as grip the Frisbee, initial stance, throw a Frisbee, and catch the Frisbee. So these are 4 basic things in Frisbee they need to be learned by the beginner of Frisbee player. So they must learn on how to grip the frisbee properly in face. Stand your feet in the correct angle to the target, which is 90 degree. So your feet must be 90 degree to the target. So learn how to throw the frisbee with the right technique and catch the frisbee with different style based on situation. So this stage, namely as a early stage, ask a lot of question on the fundamental aspect of the skill. Maksudnya tanya seberapa banyak soalan mengenai fundamental aspect of the skill, maknanya basic asas dalam sesuatu skill. So always remember basic first before advanced. So next requires a lot of specific information on the skill. Maksudnya kat sini kuasai specific information of the skill. Setiap skill berbeza based on macam mana kita nak gunakan setiap skill tu, berbeza based on specific situation. So we must have a lot of specific information on the skill before we apply it. Usually marked by a huge number of errors, and nature of error committed tends to be gross. So nama pun early stage, so basically memang akan banyak buat mistake. So it's okay to make mistake and make that mistake as your lesson to be better in the future. The second stage is associative stage. So the Frisbee player is still beginner. The beginner may be more consistent in holding the Frisbee correctly. Body and feet positioning and catching. So they may be more consistent. So but there is still the problem of getting consistent in the game. Sebabnya dalam training berbeza dengan real game, sebab real game have more pressure. So beginner still baru nak adapt dengan pressure dalam real game, so still problem of getting it consistently in the game because of the pressure. Next, variability in the performance of the skill from one attempt to another decrease slowly. So maknanya dia kurang buat mistake, decrease slowly. So the stage namely as the second stage, and the beginners focus on refining the required skill. Maksudnya dia kemaskan lagi apa yang skill-skill yang dia belajar. Next, performing the motor skill with fewer and less gross error. So lebih kurang lah, dia kurang buat mistake dalam stage ni. So learners are able to detect some of their own errors in performing the task. So beginner ni dah tahu kat mana silapnya kalau dia buat mistake dalam game. So before this, during first stage, they cannot detect the errors. So the second stage, the beginners can detect their own errors. in performing the task. So the last one is the learners are able to utilize information as guideline on structuring their own practice. So dia dah pandai gunakan apa information yang dia dapat untuk training sendiri. Finally, we already in the last stage, which is autonomous stage. So in the stage where the frisbee, the beginner become the highly skilled. Okay, so highly skilled frisbee player able to make minor adjustment. So minor adjustment in the execution of a throw to make it more difficult for their opponent to make a successful intercept. So maksudnya highly skilled frisbee player ni pandai untuk ubah setiap cara balingan based on specific station, so that the opponent cannot intercept the frisbee. So maksud highly skilled frisbee player ni is based on experience. So the more experienced the player, the more highly skilled he is. So for frisbee, for the beginner, so they does not have to worry about the fundamentals of the throw. So means tak perlu risau pasal lagi tak perlu risau lagi pasal asas macam cara pegang, cara balingan, cara berdiri, cara tangkap. So but is able to focus on the placement on the frisbee in the field. So dia dah cuba untuk jadi macam highly skill, gunakan pelbagai teknik based on specific situation in the game. So namely as the final stage, performance of the skill is almost automatic or habitual. So dah jadi tadi before this second stage consistent, so this stage the skill is almost automatic. The production of the skill is done without the need to focus on minor details. So diorang tak payah kisah lagi pasal benda-benda kecil sebab diorang dah ada experience. So diorang lebih cepat buat keputusan. The last one is the performer is able to focus on ways to outwit the opponent. So diorang lebih fokus untuk macam mana nak kalahkan opponent dengan skill-skill yang diorang ada. So that's all from me about the frisbee related with the Fitz and Posner 3-stage model. We proceed to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and hello to my teacher, Miss Atira. My name is Luqman Haikal bin Rozaino, the development of lesson plan. Okay, let's start. On this video, I will talk about Frisbee, which is a sport that me, Luqman Haikal bin Rozaino, along with the other instructor of this assignment, which are Ahmad Zaim bin Fazuri, Muhammad Aiman Faris bin Muhammad Idrus, Muhammad Izzuddin bin Nurlizam. On this video, the lesson plan focus on the fundamental and skills and rules of the sport of Frisbee. The objective are to teach about the basic technique and skill and how to play Frisbee for Frisbee beginners. There are several equipment that are needed to perform this lesson plan, which are Frisbee disc, markers, training jersey, soccer or running shoes. Next, warm up and direct skill instruction. Just like any other sport, warm-up session are very important as it can prevent injuries by loosening the joints and also improving the blood flow to the muscles. Okay, on this video, it is divided into two, which are physical warm-up and mobility and dynamic stretching. Okay, for the physical warm-up, the players need to jog around the field for about 3 rounds. And for the mobility and dynamic stretching, it is divided into 4, which is lunge and reach, high knee hugs, drinking bird stretch, and walking quad stretch. Okay, next. Alright, here are the lesson plan of Frisbee. It is divided into 3 parts, which are introduction, main activity, and conclusion. Firstly, before performing this lesson plan, it is important to explain the information to the players, such as history of Frisbee, the rules of the games, the equipment that are needed, and warming up session. It is expected to take approximately around 20 minutes for the introduction session before starting the other session. Okay, for the main activity, which are the most important session and content in this lesson plan, it has several levels to be learned by the players before reaching the game session. Here are few activities for the Frisbee programs, including the basic grip, backhand throw, and catching, practice throwing and catching, the defending, and minigame. Okay, the first thing to learn about Frisbee sport is the basic grip. It is estimated in around 5 minutes. It is the most basic thing that all players must know before playing. A player cannot play well if the basic of Frisbee is not mastered. Okay, for the explanation, place the thumb on the top of the disc along the flight rings, and then wrap the other finger under the edge of the disc. Okay. Okay, next, the second activity is backhand throw and catching. It is estimated in 20 minutes as well as the basic grip. This technique is also important and need to be mastered by the beginners of Frisbee. It is because the technique of throwing and catching the Frisbee disc play a very important role. Okay, for the explanation, if the throw are right-handed, step across the body with the right foot. If the throw left-handed, step across the body with the left foot. Then swing the throwing arm forward. As the players release the disc, flick the wrist to give the disc spin and more further. And for the catch, keep the eyes on the disc and position the body square to the disc. Use 2 hands to catch the disc. This technique is called pancake catch. Okay, the third activity is practice of throwing and catching. It is estimated in 20 minutes. This practice is to increase the efficiency in throwing and catching as well as to form understanding between players. For the explanation, work with a partner and begin about 2 yards apart. Then continue this practice and gradually increase the distance between the partner 1 yard at a time. Okay. Alright, the next activity is the defending. It is estimated in 20 minutes. This practice is to defend. Alright. Again. The first thing when defending is to put pressure on the thrower. So the defender must stay close to receiver on the field to prevent a complete pass without blocking or otherwise interfering the opponent. Okay, for the mini game, which is the last activity, there will be a mini game. It is estimated around for about 45 minutes. The reason of the mini game is to see and evaluate the players' progress and as well as to provide the real game situation. Okay, for the explanation, start playing game in a structured, competitive and inclusive environment. Okay, then for the conclusion, after all these activities are over, there will be cooling down session and feedback. The cooling down session is by doing static stretching to allow the body temperature, blood pressure, and heart rate return to their normal state. The player will be given feedbacks and comments about their progression in the sport. It is estimated around 20 minutes. Alright, this is all from me. Thank you.
Okay, for the conclusion, Frisbee sport involve many motor skills that based on the classification such as size of primary musculature, nature of movement organization, predictability, pacing, and difficulty. So overall, Frisbee involved with complex skill because in this kind of sport, there are large amount of information that need to be processed and must be quick on the decision making. Besides, by relating with fit and personal three-stage model, which is cognitive stage, associative stage, and autonomous stage, basically for cognitive stage are known as early stage, while associative stage is defined as the refining stage, and the last one known as the final stage. In lesson plan, you will be learning about the most of the important thing in Frisbee. A mini game will be set up by the instructor to expose you for a real game. So that's all for our slide. Thank you very much.